Yeah, sounds good.
Let's go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to ZeldaSpeedRuns. Happy or unhappy daylight savings time if you're in North America. Today, Mentor Blue will be presenting lecture number 6 of 8 for the 2026 Mentor program. This is for A Link to the Past, no major glitches. This is not rando, it's vanilla. And Blue, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself? Maybe tell the viewers, what's your experience with this game, and go ahead and teach us what you know about Turtle Rock.
Yeah, sounds good. I'm Blue. I started running this game, I think, in fall of 2016 with the Master Sword category, and I never planned to go far with it, which, it's been a long time. It's been almost 10 years now. And, I kept taking it further, especially when COVID happened and we weren't going outside and stuff. I kind of took this in late 2020 and early 2021 to the sub 90 level, and then kind of stopped for a while. I came back a couple years ago and got to a 128. And now I am mentoring some folks in the program and playing a little bit again myself. So that's kind of my history with it. I really liked coming in with Master Sword and doing that for a while because it helped get some of those fundamentals with those easier dungeons, because, we're about to talk about a hard dungeon. This is, there's a reason that this is only one segment this week, whereas the past weeks we've been doing multiple segments. There's probably the most RNG. There's a lot of RNG, at least. I don't know if it's the most of any segment, but there's quite a bit. And there's a lot of strategy variance depending on your skill level and how you want to deal with that and how much you want to memorize and learn and that kind of thing. So there's a lot of different stuff going on in Turtle Rock. So since we have a lot to get to, let's get started. So I'm going to start talking about gold and silvers. This is, kind of the standard beginner route. You would be leaving Swamp Palace after fighting Argus. The reason we do that is because we're closer to where we want to be to get the gold and silvers. You're going to need to have 100 rupees at this point as well, which should, just with the rest of the routing, even if you're not doing this route, you usually have anyway. So I'll leave Swamp here and we'll go get it. So you do have to look out for this Moblin and this Ropa. Sometimes they can get in your way. We're mainly just trying to dash up here. There is a strat where you can use the hook dash, which we'll talk a little bit about more later, but you don't really need to do that. Like, I don't see too many people do it that are doing gold and silvers, because if you accidentally fall in this water, you lose it. If you kind of go too far too early or whatever, you're not optimizing the movement. So I would really just recommend dashing up for the most part. If you need to slash these guys because they're in your way when you get out of the dungeon, just do that, dash up. And then we're going over to the Dark World version of Link's house. So we're kind of just taking the opposite way that we took to Desert Palace when we went there, essentially. Dash up into this row of bushes here and go into the bomb shop, where we get the big bomb. The only big bomb in the game. The priciest bomb in the game. So there's a couple things. If you hit A, you're going to drop the bomb, so we can't dash with the bomb. And we also can't hop off a ledge with the bomb, because then we also drop the bomb. We don't want to drop the bomb because then we have to go buy it again if we don't get it back in time. That's a waste of time. So what we can do, though, is we can hookshot various stuff. So we can't hookshot this stuff, but we can hookshot like to bushes and to fences, which there are a few of. And we are going to go around this way, and we can actually mirror to the light world with the bomb. I don't know what you would do with it in light world, but we are going to take the fastest way to the pyramid by using this mirror instead of going around the bridge with all the hammer pegs and stuff. Walk through the gate, and voila, we are in front of this mysterious crack in the wall of the pyramid. So you can drop the bomb there. It can be pretty far to the right. And then you pretty much can just wait till it opens. You also, while you're waiting, you could do a spin speed if you want to. I didn't get it. Oh, I did get it here. So that when it blows up, you're ready to just go in. But you know, if you're doing this, just walk in. It's probably fine. So what we can get here are the silver arrows and the golden sword. Generally, people just get them both if you're going to do either of them. So I liked to go to the sword first. I always like to drop the sword first because if you mess up or accidentally like press too fast, then the bow is the first thing that's already up. So it gives you another chance to get it. And then our fairy friend appears and she will upgrade this stuff with her magic pool of water. And then we have to wait again until she's ready to let us do another item. So, I mean, maybe this is one reason that you would just do the silver arrows or something, but I would just recommend doing both. So we throw both those items in. Oh, that's true. Vortex points out that you can, you're not going to pick up the bomb if you have spin speed, so you can be quite close. So that is nice. You could be lined up with it. So we get our gear here. And then we are going to go out. Oh, yes, yes. I'll show that in a second. You don't want to immediately mirror when you walk out because in the light world, you're going to end up on like a bush or something here. Well, maybe it does work. There are times if you move down at all outside of the door, you will be in this tree and you'll get warped back. So if you walk down a little bit, that's going to be what happens. But you can go to the side or just go down a little bit or just stay in the door. It's been a while since I've done this route. So I think the last time I ran with this was like 2018 or something. Anyway, let's go show Hype Cave really quick. Just in case we don't have enough money. Yes, if you do move down, you want to move left. And see, that guy can really, like, if you do the hook speed, you can't use your sword, and then he gets in your way, too, so that's another issue. Hype Cave is over this way. Somewhere. This is probably not the way you want to go, because there's a lot of lag. But you can open up this cave, and there's a guy that just gives you 300 rupees for no reason. So now we're stacked with cash if for some reason something happened. That's not super common. I don't think it ever happened to me, but it can happen. Things, you know, if you're getting potions or extra bottles or something, you might need the money. So once we mirror back to Light World, we're going to flute to Death Mountain. But I'm going to really quickly also just show the Mire route. If you're leaving Mire, you just mirror right out of the door and you flute, and you can bonk to, like, I think it saves like a couple frames because of something with screen scrolling with the duck. If you don't have Ice Rod, you may notice that the preset has an Ice Rod thing. If you don't have it, you want to make sure you have it before you go up Death Mountain because you can't beat the dungeon without it, and you would waste a lot of time, and I know people have done it, and it sucks to do it. So yeah, you just really want to make sure you have that before you go. I think a lot of people that are doing this route anyway are probably getting it somewhere that's not T-Rock because, you know, you're already getting the golds and silvers in this split and other stuff. So I mentioned hook speed earlier. You know, we've been doing spin speed this whole game because we haven't had the hook shot. But if you just do an item dash on a set of stairs, pressing A and Y at the same time, you can automatically get that quick hook speed. And, you know, I don't even know if it's worth really doing spin speed if you're not going to do this, if for some reason you're not doing item dashes or anything, because it's just a single dash to get over here. It doesn't like waste a lot of time. But then we have to deal with dead rocks and various different routes to get over there, which there are a number of. So I'm going to actually remove sprites here and just talk really quickly about this optimal route that, like, you not only have to have the right RNG for, but, you know, I've never really done it in a real run, but it is the fastest to go this way, basically. They call it the Waffle House drive-through. It gets the job done, but there's a lot of dangerous stuff in the way, so that's why I tend to not do it. What I tend to do is, once I'm off the stairs here, I will jump down this ledge, and you don't want to move down too much or jump down because then you'll lose time getting down here. Just hold straight right, and then we kind of want to look at what the dead rocks are doing. So They can obviously ruin our day if they get frozen in the way. This guy didn't quite get frozen in my way here, but they can block your path. That's kind of no bueno. So there's a few ways that we can kind of deal with that. Although the fact is, at some point, everybody from, you know, beginners to really advanced players are going to have these guys ruin their day. They are difficult to predict because they don't really telegraph what they're doing so much. They move cardinally only, but they can move in any of, you know, the 4 cardinal directions, and they don't, you know, some enemies kind of face and give you a little time to kind of give you an idea of what they're going to do. But you can beam them, you can slash them is one thing, but a fun thing you can do is you can repeatedly hookshot them so they don't instantly freeze in the first spot that you get them, and sometimes that can be the thing that will save you. And obviously we got cabbages and stuff. So this is the main spot where you might want to be doing that multiple hook shot, because if they block this path, that's going to lose you a lot of time. If it's available to me, like if the RNG is good for it, I will just walk through here without hook shotting or anything. It works nice. And then from this point, we also have a choice of where we can go. So we can go below. We also can hookshot any of these rocks to pull ourselves closer. So if you go top route, you want to lift that rock and go that way. You can also go the bottom, that's fine. It's technically slower, but like it's very safe a lot of times when other routes aren't. You know, there's dead rocks in your way or whatever. So let's just do a few reps of this and kind of show, you know, what we might be in for here. So if it doesn't look like you're going to get smacked there, you can kind of dash through. That's what I'll do a lot of times if it doesn't look like they're directly in my way, because they will get bounced a little bit. And then I like to menu buffer right under the stairs to kind of see my alignment to it. Here, the dead rock's in the way, so I'm going to go underneath. Do a couple more. Yeah, the fastest route to Death Mountain is the one that the RNG gives you. That's very true. It's like, it's just the what choice you may want to make in what order of priority. Like what you know how to do, what looks like it's free and easy, because losing a couple frames here or even a second is way better than a lot of things that could happen. Yeah, and that's another thing. You could menu to hook here because the alignment isn't necessarily that hard to hit. I mean, you're already pausing. It's kind of like some people talk about stopping a bonk with the menu being pointless because you have to press a button at that same time anyway, which I agree with, but it's like, where's the best place for you to use the menu? And if you want to read this RNG, that's a great place to do it. So you would just probably kind of do this. It's like, oh, he could be in my way. You will also get damaged if you bonk off of them, which is another fun thing that they do. So that's another thing. When you hook, it takes a while. So the dead rock can move in your way and do other stuff and get you hit. So if you have walking available, it's kind of nice to do. So we got more dead rock screens to talk about. So whether you come into this screen from the top or from down here, you want to get to a point where you're going to hit this slope dash and then just make the dash here. And I think the game wants you to hookshot this block, but there is a peg a little bit further. You can get that back fence. And then I hold down right out of there because this guy is going to come into that space that you're in almost immediately, and we don't want to get hit. This is a great dungeon to have beams for if you can. So this is another area where there's lots of places where you can get blocked. So if you have a free slash to just get the dead rock out of your way, like if he's kind of going here and you're right here, just get rid of him and then dash is what I would say. This room isn't too complicated. We just do a couple dashes and walk through the door. Same thing with this one. You want to watch out for the mini Moldorm too. Sometimes you'll kill them both. A lot of times you'll kill them both, but if you don't, they can kind of mess you up on the way to the stairs. And now we have more dead rocks to talk about. So First, there's a ferry here. You could also net dash this to get that ferry because it's, you know, it's going to float a lot of places that you can't grab, as you can see. Like, I can't get it right now. Now we lost it. So that is one thing that you may want to grab. You may want to net dash it or whatever. The other thing is, if dead rocks are blocking your way, one of the fastest things to do is just screen scroll over here, and they will be unfrozen, which they can block this area too. And it's probably going to be tough for me to get the RNG, but you're going to have times where it looks like you can't squeeze through, but it's worth trying a dash or two because sometimes you can squeeze through when it looks like you can't, just because of the weird mechanics of slope dashes. So let's do this one a couple times. Most of the time, this screen is not the worst dead rock screen, but it, you know, it can also ruin your day, like all dead rock screens. And if you want to practice this screen, this one is Squirrels. Death Mountain is the first one. Depending on your version of the practice hack, I think they're named different things, but most of them are the same. It's probably going to be hard to get that RNG where they're perfectly like blocking this thing. I haven't seen it in a while. But just know that it's possible sometimes to squeeze through when it looks like you can't. And that's probably enough without having to waste like 4 seconds going back and forth here. Oh, perfect. So, you like turtles. Don't we all? That's why we're heading to Turtle Rock. So this screen, I take the slope dash down and I take this slope dash over. But you want to watch for the dead rocks. Sometimes you can actually pull this dash a little easier and not take damage and, you know, just get the dead rock blocked because it takes a long time to pick this up. And you can get really ruined by them. They can even get in front of the stairs where you can't enter the stairs. That's less common than other stuff happening, like you just picking up the block and then them being all over the place on you. Because you're going to have to restart that block pickup as soon as you get hit, which is also a no bueno. So I canceled my dash there because it looks like he's going to get me. And like if this guy was over here at all, I would just slash him, just knowing that he's going to ruin your day. If they're really far away, that it's like way out of your way to do that, you probably will be okay, or at least you'll have some time to see it coming. So let's do this one a couple times and just, you know, this is you can't almost spend enough time here. Also, if you can throw the rock into a dead rock, that it won't hit you when you're going up the stairs. That's nice too. And then we have the peg puzzle. The peg puzzle can be done with hook speed. You can get that when you're going up the stairs, or you can just walk it. But we want to hit it in order of right, top, left. And that will open the portal to the Dark World. You also, if you're nervous, if you're using spin speed and you're nervous about falling off, you could go this way. It'll also line you up with the grid, which is maybe better for the quick warp. This quick warp is centered, with links centered on the portal, and I think one to the left. No, I'm sorry, one to the right. So let's do that again with spin speed. There's just a lot of ways to do many of these screens, as you can see. And a lot of RNGs to deal with. It's great to maintain your beams here if you can. There's a couple reasons for that. So if you can not get hit and go into Turtle Rock with, you know, well, the portal's already here now. If you can get into Turtle Rock without having big issues, it's nice. Also, if you still have beams, you can beam the dead rocks too if they haven't hit you yet. So if you're spin speeding, you can go from this side, which would leave you on the grid and maybe easier for the quick warp. Or you can go the top too. Some people say this one is free. I don't think it is personally. But once we get to the Dark World, we need to open Turtle Rock. So what you don't want to do is go like all the way down onto this and use Quake. You only actually have to be far enough down that Link's shadow is like over the medallion. So It's going to work here. I think you can get 1 pixel higher and have it work too. But if his shadow's over the medallion, it's going to work. And that's just going to save you a little bit of time with walking back and forth. And then we wait for Turtle Rock to open, etc. There's a couple other pieces to this screen. There's a very try-hard spin speed, and then there's a item dash that is not too detrimental if you do it, if you miss it, whatever. Yeah, so when you're doing this, if you item dash, Quake Dash, by hitting Y and A at the same time, you will get a free quick hop, like a first frame quick hop off the side of this. You can also just skip that and press A to quick hop. That's not really a big deal, especially if you're concerned or you think you're not getting it consistently or whatever. I think it's usually worth the try. The one thing to look out for is accidentally doing the try-hard strat. So if you go back into the stairs at all, you're going to be in super speed up here. And this like saves almost no time because as you can see, we're not going very far. So just don't walk back into the stairs unless you're really, really trying to save every possible frame, which I think most of us are not. But the free quick hop is nice. If you don't get it, then you just tap A. And then we go into Turtle Rock. Now we're in the dungeon. So there's going to be some different magic routing and stuff here, but we want to switch to cane, and we're going to use these cane platforms a lot in this dungeon. Now there's ways you can like kind of like get lag and like stutter getting onto them, which used to be a problem for me. Just try to walk onto this one straight and you'll be a little bit to the left of the door. But this is the important one. If you hold up left out of this door and stay lined up with this right side, you can just go up a little bit. And then when you're on the platform, you can just go upright instead of walking all the way over to the middle of the platform. You know, you don't need to go like this and then go over. It's a minor thing, but it'll save you a few frames. If it's happening, it's not a big deal. Now in this room, in a perfect world, we'll still have beams, which is great because that berry is going to be in your way a lot. And what you don't want to do is slash him. Because if you slash one of these berries and they happen to electrify while you're doing it, you can get knocked off the platform and lose a bunch of time. So, well, I missed that one. I was trying to demonstrate it, but they never do it when you want to do it, is the main thing. They'll always do it when you're already low on health and you just kind of want to tank the hit. Even if it doesn't look like they're going to electrocute, you just want to kind of tank the hit. I think the only exception might be if you just saw them electrocute and you know they're not about to do it again. Yeah, so you can see Link falls off the platform here. That's not great, especially if it happens higher up. That's even worse because you're going to lose more time than this close one. So if you can beam this one too, because he could be in your way later. And then we're going to go to this room on the right. So there are a few different ways to do this room, but they're all going to start with us getting on and going up. So the optimal way to do it is to light the torches like that and then hook to the left. Hooking to the left saves some time for the screen scrolling. It can feel really hard to get when you're just starting out. If you're trying to get that and feeling like, oh man, it's so hard, I can't, like, I don't know what's happening. The thing that kind of changed it for me is thinking about lighting this torch higher. So you can light a torch as long as you're like halfway over it. So these ones I'll just do in the center because you don't want to miss them or anything, but you can do it basically like right here. Actually, this is probably too late, but so you have some options other than that too. You can wait till you go around and hook this one to the top. That doesn't lose too much time. The other thing that you can do is just hook to the right. And that one is kind of equally as tight, but yeah, just there's try different ways, see what works for you. All of these strats are, you know, pretty equal. You're talking about like maybe 2 seconds or something, I think. And then as you can see, he's barely hooking it, right? Like it's just catching the top of the hook. So that is the roller screen, the torture screen. The next screen is the roller screen. So the rollers are going like as soon as we start in this screen, and there's a few different ways to do it. Yeah, you might be right, Doom. All right. Yeah, it's just, you have to get the same height. So the roller room is the next room up here, and it can be a little tight on the movement for sure. So you want to be trying to dash as soon as you can to go into the room and hook a right. The hook shot will prevent us from taking damage from the roller. And like just about everything in Turtle Rock, it seems, these do 4 hearts of damage. So it's like, you know, I take 3 hits and I'm basically almost dead. Like now I'm in 1-hit KO mode. So this is a room that can make it go wrong really fast. Yeah, I think waiting to hook from the bottom is the move. So you want to, like, if you're not getting a first frame dash, like if you kind of go in the room and your input gets eaten, you just want to, like, because you try to do it too soon, you just want to, you know, you can go slower. Any way that you have your hook shot out, you can get through these. You can even hook these if you feel like you're in danger of getting hit by that one. It's not necessarily like the strat to do. And then as long as the roller is like, well, as long as the roller is like here and there's this gap between this, you can do a faster strat out. But what I'd recommend for most people is just to mirror out. This is going to lose about 4 seconds, but it also gives you this magic refill. So we're going to encounter a bunch of pokies in this dungeon, and you may want to fire rod them, and that will give you basically the recovery of your, you know, 3 shots worth of fire rod that you already used. And there's 4 pokies that we like mandatorily must kill here. So that will take care of a lot of that magic, and you won't have to really worry or think about magic too much. If I'm slow in this room, I'll still sometimes just mirror out. This is also a thing that can happen if you catch it at the wrong time, where you're hitting the edge of the roller. You can get hit by the roller. You also can dash too early here, and like dash into this roller too, which is also a no bueno. So this room definitely takes a little bit of practice to kind of get the sense of the timing down, because you do have to walk up some. You don't want to dash right away. And I think getting good movement in this room can be pretty difficult. So that's why, like, mostly I'm going to say just mirror out. But if we want to go out more optimally, I'll just wait till the roller is like right here-ish. We can walk down and then dash out using the iframes to get through that other roller. There is an even more optimal strat that I don't really know, where you can dash even higher on that top roller, this long one here. Like if you have enough room, I think you can dash here and you'll catch the iframes at the very end of that and then be able to go down. But I don't know. I think it's pretty hard. So if for some reason you're going down, you generally are trying to be very optimal and you're not going to do this, but there is a magic here. Like if something went wrong, if you used an extra rod shot or whatever, there is a full refill here. Oh yeah, there's also a heart with that. There is a heart in that pot too, so I always think about the magic, but there is the heart too, so that'll save you the 1 heart you lost. And then you get beams again, for whatever reason, if that guy gets in your way, which he's got. Sometimes this guy will get in your way and you'll have to slash him. Sometimes you can just go around him. As usual, if the berry gets in your way, try to not slash him, because he will knock you off. Then we have Pokey 0. So Pokies are going to be a little different in a few ways depending on what you want to do. There are times where we'll fire rod the Pokies. I mentioned there's 4 that we have to kill. but 3 that we got 3 extra rod shots. So I would pretty much suggest trying to do the spin on this one. He's kind of the easiest one to do it on, but pokies basically need 2 hits. So you want to get it when they're going into you. I actually didn't think that one would work, but it did. So if they're going into you, the second after the first hit, it's going to bounce into you while the spin is still going. Now, if we have the gold sword, it's a little bit more forgiving, if I remember right, because the gold sword is a little bit longer and it's a little bit stronger. So I can't remember if it either doesn't take 2 hits or just the reach is quite a bit. But you basically, once you're in this room, you want to charge your spin. And if he's going up towards the wall, you can actually walk up a little bit before you charge your spin. You have some time to do that. Otherwise, if he's going down, just do it right away. And when he's coming into you, grab it. Now, there is a chance that he can drop a lot of useful things. The Pokies are like the best prize pack. They really are, they have a lot of useful stuff. Optimally, we're trying to make sure we get the fairy in T-Rock because, as you just saw in the roller room, we're intentionally taking 4 hearts of damage, plus the torch, that's 5 hearts. There's just a lot of damage that happens. Everything else doing 4 hearts of damage, things can go wrong in T-Rock really quickly. And also, beams can be pretty useful in a number of rooms coming up. So, once we get this key, we're going to go to the next room, which is Chomps. And we're probably going to spend a little bit of time on this room, as I think everyone should in practice, because this can be a really tough room. These guys can kind of bounce constantly, unpredictably. I mean, they're kind of rolling the dice on which way they're going all the time. It's just every so often they will go right for where Link is. And there's a couple spots like on the edges of the wall where you're going to be safe, where they can't quite reach you. So if you've been slow or you know that's coming, and actually the right one will hit you a lot more places. I think he can even hit you here. Like the right one can hit you almost everywhere. Other than like down in like top and bottom. So first, the safe strat to get through this, I think, is just to place a block here, bait the left chomp, fire the block, and then you have to go down and push this block. Ideally, we're trying to time it so that we get invincibility frames from the peg. We get the iframes from the peg going up while Link is on top of it. And as you can see, they can block a lot of paths, and it can just be very dangerous. So here I got the iframes. We want to get this chest, and we want to get out of here as quickly as possible. Oh, yes, yes. They're on the side of the blocks, the right side of the blocks. So this is the safe strat. This is also the, oh shit, the RNG is bad strat. So like, that's the thing, is a lot of the other strats, they can block you in various ways. You don't really have a good menu here to like read what they're doing. You could, I guess, like select buffer or something, but you don't really see a lot of people do that because we have to react fast to what they're doing and make a decision. So like when I'm coming in this door, I'm usually heading left. Like I'm already trying to head left until like, and I'm looking at the left chomp first, because if he is blocking what I want to do, which is kind of the main like normal strat that I'll show here, where you put down you press Y 3 times to put down a block, fire the block, and put down another block, and then you kind of delay like a little bit, hit that next block, and then that gives you the ability to get on the peg and push the block before you get the iframes. Because if you go too fast, you can sometimes get caught where you're like on the pegs and you can't push the block, or the block doesn't push. You still get the iframes, but you kind of have messed up the thing. So yeah, and you can get times where you can't squeeze through there and you have to go around. A lot of times the left one is nicer just because they are attached to the right side too. And trying to squeeze through and get that can sometimes be difficult. So that's why it's really nice to get the iframes, because a lot of times you can just go through the chomps. And then if you don't, then you sometimes get hit, right? So this is, you can do the same thing on the right side, basically. I was slow on this one, so. And if you're slow, that's okay too. You can, you know, pause and wait for them and go around. The main thing is to get through this room alive a lot of times, especially when you're just starting out. There is kind of like a higher level thing that I don't do because, yeah, just you might want to have a different grip when you're going in or whatever, but you can block blast, which I'm going to probably just turn off the sprites here so I don't have to actually deal with getting the right RNG. If you're in a situation where the left guy is blocking your path here, the right guy is blocking your firing path for the cane block here, and it doesn't look like you can go either of those paths, and you don't want to do the slower strat. Yeah, slow is definitely better than taking damage or dying. You have to be kind of far up on this to make the timing, and you can place a cane block, and then once it's in the spot where it's going to hit the two crystals, you can fire it, and it's offset enough that it gives you just a little bit of time to get on here and start pushing. It's pretty tight. It's pretty hard. You also have to get the right RNG and read the right RNG very quickly. You also can item dash the cane block, but it can be hard too because you have to also hit that Y again at the right time. Because if you're too late, you won't hit the crystals. Like, it can go into the wall first. You got to hit it right kind of in this area-ish. You get some room to deal with it, but yeah. What else about chomps? I mean, basically, it's definitely a room you just want to, like, go do for 10 minutes. Like, I would basically recommend that everybody do that. Like, just kind of get through this room for 10 minutes, do different things, you know, do the safe strat, do left side, right side. Just because you want to know a couple different ways to get through it, because with their RNG, it's just what you normally do will not consistently always work. There are also beam strats, but as you can see, that first time my beam got blocked, the beam hitbox is like really huge, and it's really easy for the chomps to block them. So I don't like really even use them much. But what you would do is use a cane and a block. Like I just skip it. Like, the magic is not an issue. It's minimally faster. I think we're talking about frames. And then we go down from chomps, which, are there any questions about chomps? Chomps is kind of a big room with a lot of stuff, but mainly the thing is just spend time there. That's like the main thing I can recommend to kind of get the timing. Down this stairs, like if you get hiccuped somehow, like you take stair lag or you just like nudge or something, you're going to get hit by the anti-fairy unless you delay till it's gone. And if your movement is clean, you have to still walk a little bit before you can start your dash, or you'll get hit. It's buffering, huh? Let me check. I don't see any drop frames on my end. So yeah, that's basically what it looks like going through here. You just want to kind of move clean. Give yourself a little room. Like, once Link is kind of clear of the stairs, like right here, he should be good to do the dash. And then I like to dash as close to this wall as possible and as far down as possible without bonking, because there is a pokey here that can be in your way. And as we know, sometimes when pokies get hit, there are pieces of them that fly around that can hit you and damage you. Yeah, if you don't cancel the stair lag, you're just going to have to delay more, is the big thing. Because if I just like hold down out of here, I'm going to get hit. Yeah. So that's, I guess, the demo of what can happen. Try to demo the like going wrong here, but I also have to get the right RNG for it. Or at least show one where I dash into the guy, the pokey, and you can see his stuff flying around. So there you can see when I dash through him, that piece is flying through. So if you don't dash far enough down, you can get hit by that. There are times in which it won't happen. You'll get lucky. You'll be safe. I think it's like less than 50% probably that it would happen, but you don't want it to happen. So just, try and go down to at least like here. If you can wait till you see the sword touching and then turn right, that's great. And then we're going through a series of tubes. So there are arrows in this one. I pretty much always grab them unless like I'm crazy on arrows. In this preset, I didn't need them in theory, but what we need arrows for next really is Ice Armos. Armos takes 18 to kill if done correctly, but like sometimes Ice Armos goes wrong, especially if you're just starting out, and having extra arrows is not a bad thing. So I would just say always grab them until you get to a level where you don't need them. Technically, I think, what is it? If you have 13, you're going to be fine because there's a 5 that you grab in on the way to Ice Armos, just as part of the route bonking over in GT. So if you have 13, you're theoretically fine, but having extra is not bad, and these ones aren't too far out of your way. And then we have two choices here. We're going to, the first time, go through this one. If you've been further in this dungeon and you've died, just remember not to go back this way because you won't need the big key again, because that's what we're going to get. So this next room is Pokey 1. It has a number of RNGs. We have to go through it twice, back and forth. So you want to dash here, dash down, slash the crystal, and then hold your sword. And this Pokey can go any of 4 directions. There's a good chance with a lot of RNGs that you're going to get bunnied, which is okay. Sometimes that actually is the fastest. And then you want to avoid looking at the door. Like, as you can see, I'm fine when I'm not looking at the door, but the second I look at it, it's going to fire at you. So, as I said, the Pokies have good drops. You might get a fairy here. There might be a full magic refill, because that's pretty close after that. If you're further in the prize pack, sometimes there's a 10 arrow, which can be nice to get. Yes, that's true. You can set the Pokey RNG in the hack, which I'll show in a second. So if you're grabbing that stuff, don't be looking at the eye when you grab it. And yeah, let's talk about setting the Pokey RNG. Under RNG control in the practice hack, there are 2 sets because there is one room that has 2 Pokies in it. So you can set these, to all kinds of different things. I'm going to leave them, well, let's see. I'm going to go, we'll start with this one and go back to Pokey 1. So this is what I think is another generally pretty easy one, but you're going to get bunnied. You grab the key, it's going to be over there. The 2 where he goes to the right are pretty simple. Also, if you get bunnied, you can tap A when Link emerges from here, and it'll just give you like a little tiny boost through the animation where you're getting the big key here. And we're going to talk about more Pokey stuff. I just want to mention this bunny piece here. You can grab the key all the way to the right, touching like as far right as you can go. You can grab this key, and then we go back. But let's change the Pokey RNG again to something else. Down left. This is a fun one. This is, I think, the one that people would consider the most difficult starting out, because this guy gets in your way and then he can make you drop your sword and then things go really wrong, right? There's some ways to deal with this. The way that I did that was just like, I thought was easy when I was starting out, is to just wait. Just wait for him, get bunnied, get your key, and go. That works totally fine, and you don't have to like fear this guy. You just lose a couple seconds. Rather than having your day ruined. You also can poke dash this guy, which I just failed to do. And you can get the key. There is a way to manipulate the key so you can be basically against the wall and key dash out and stuff, but that's can be very dangerous. Basically, you have to dash a little bit differently where you're looking towards the eye at the last second, because as we know, the eye is going to fire as soon as you start to look at it. So you kind of have to dash. It depends on your lineup too, if you're high enough up, but I think that tends to not happen. So yeah, I mean, I would go and practice all the different pokey RNGs. We already saw up right, so let's see up left. And then we can talk about going the other way through this room. But basically, just let the pokey come to you, get the key. Sometimes, you know, this one, there is a way that you can get the key, have it bounce as you're, like, bounce into you as you're starting the dash where you're low enough that you'll clear that wall. And you'll just dash to this wall, too. Yeah, you have to snap or you'll get hit. So mainly my advice for this room would just be to take your time with it. If you're new at it, let the pokey come to you wherever it's going, because things can get, you know, a little out of control fast. Also, there's a bunch of anti-fairies in this room. I think it's easier to grab them on the way back. So if you're fine on health and you feel pretty comfortable with this, I would just go through and do this first and get them on the way back, personally. But if you need it, right? Just the direction that they're going and stuff is kind of nice as you're coming back, because they're coming towards you and there's 4 of them and whatever. So coming back is pretty simple. We dash over, we dash up, we cancel our dash around this thing and slash it. Then we dash up again and we dash over if we're not grabbing the anti-fairies. So let me just remove sprites here. You can actually dash out of this wall a little bit lower than you think. I think this is going to clear it. Yeah. It seems like you would bonk more than you would, but this one probably will bonk. Oh, it doesn't. Basically, if you're off of that bottom wall, you're kind of fine, which is lower than a lot of places that you might think that you can kind of clear this. So as long as Link is not like against this wall and you have some like visible distance between his shadow and the wall, you're going to be pretty okay. That would have worked if the anti-fairy didn't hit me. Which is just, it's a nice thing. You can dash out. You can know that you'll clear them because it can look a little tight. Because the anti-fairies do get pretty close to you. And if you go too high and you center on the door, you are going to get hit by them. Which, that's never fun. We want to take as little damage as possible in this dungeon as we can. You also, if you have beams, you can beam this thing, and then you can dash out the top. And you can actually do it where it's off screen, too. A little bit. It can't be too far off screen. I think the limit is about where you can also do that dash out. Because, like, this is too high. It's been a while since I've had beams here, as you can see. Because it's a very dangerous dungeon. And you just want to listen for if it gets hit. You can also just do it lower. Why didn't that work? I know you can get it pretty high. I just tested it. Yeah, there we got it. You can walk up a little bit and dash out. And then we're going back through our series of tubes. So remember, if you die and you have the big key, you don't need to go this way again. Oh, yeah, you're right. So let's do it one more time. Yeah, you do kind of want to like hug it a little bit more. Yeah, we're talking about like a few frames for sure. And you don't have beams. It's like, it's another strat you have to learn to save a few frames. So just slash it. It's not going to cost you too much time. And then we're going to go this way over to Pokey 2. So we talked about setting the Pokey RNG. This is why there are 2 sets. There are 2 Pokeys in this room, and we have to kill them both to open the door. So that means there's 16 different RNGs, which is a little bit much for me to talk about all of them here. The FMG tutorial does go over every single one and how to do it optimally. The other thing to consider is that how you do this room and how fast it goes also affects the next room. Yeah, I kind of agree, Vortex. Like sometimes 10 frames isn't worth it, especially when you have to learn another strat. I once got a PB review and, you know, I was told to do it. And then I was like, well, I haven't learned it yet. So why would I do it? You know, you just kind of have to pick and choose where you know, there's 525 rooms in this game if you get no safeties. If you're getting like powder and bottles and stuff, there's a couple more rooms to like minorly optimize too. Or if you're going out of your way to get fairies and stuff, you're adding a couple more rooms, but that's a lot of rooms. Some of them are, you know, fairly simple, like press the A button, don't press anything else, and that's the room pretty much. Just do it as fast as you can. But most of the rooms have like precise dash lines where you can save frames much easier than learning a different strat is just cleaning up your movement. So that can be really good. So that's kind of why I'm just trying to let everybody know what's out there for what they want to do. But yeah, I think sometimes it's not really worth doing. Back to Pokies 2. So you want to slash your sword before you go in this door so you're already getting the charge going. And, you know, as you can see, we're in a box. They can go a lot of different directions. There's a lot of RNG that you can face. My general rule of thumb, like, there's an optimal way to do all of these, and this, what I'm about to say, will not apply optimally to all of these. But as a general rule, what I like to do is, if a Pokey is coming towards me, like directly where I can just walk straight down and get him, I will get him. Otherwise, I will prioritize the left one because it's further from the door. So here they're both going away. And you also have to time things with the Medusa as well. So like when you get that RNG, you have to delay a little bit. There are a lot where you can get them both together where they're going to like coalesce at some point, basically. But yeah, get the one that's coming towards me and then get the one on the left. And then you do have to watch out for the Medusa timing as to whether you can dash or not dash. If we're not getting Mirror Shield, we're going to this room, and how fast you do that last room will affect where the roller is. We'll talk about that more in a second, but we're going to get the Mirror Shield. So if you're getting the Mirror Shield, you want to go down and to the left, and we're going to switch to bombs. And throw a bomb down in this wall, and don't look at the eyes. Which is exactly what I did. Look at the eyes. I haven't done that room in a while either. All right, let's do Poke 2 one more time, and then we'll get the Mirror Shield. And then we'll talk more about Poke 2. See, this is one of those RNGs where I think you can get them together. There's a few, 2 or 3, where they'll come together. Thanks, Kane. Yeah, so throw the bomb at the wall, blow up the wall. The nice thing about this is we're leaving the dungeon. There's a couple opportunities when you're just beginning to leave the dungeon so that if you do die, you're not starting all the way back at the beginning. We use the cane block to get over, and then we can open the big chest, which gives us the Mirror Shield. In terms of safeties, this is usually one of the first ones that people will drop because basically learning one room can save you a lot of time. And we'll be doing that room coming up, and I'll show it with the Mirror Shield and without the Mirror Shield. But that's the way you go to get it, and it will, once you walk up there, you will be in this roller room over here. So let's talk a little bit more about them Pokies. Let me show the lucky Pokies here. So that'd be upright. Yeah, up, right, up, left. So people call this the God Pokies. This is when you get very lucky and they both come right to you, and you can just dash like immediately as soon without, you know, worrying about that Medusa hitting you. And you can also, the roller will be in a great spot where you can key dash through this room. So if you want to key dash, I should have made a save state there. What you need to do is stay horizontally aligned because we're going to enter this room on the grid, and I'm going to do a left input to cancel that dash and not move up or down at all, and then start my dash up, and that will leave me aligned with the grid. But most of the time, you're not going to enter this room where you could do that, right? You're going to enter it where, oh, you got to wait for this and then go around here. There are strats to bonk over it. I've never really like loved that here. I think just like it's easy to just walk around it. So let's God, there's so many sometimes it doesn't even feel like it's moving. Let's just do a couple more of these. And I'll actually exit the room and we'll see different roller stuff as well. And, you know, you might be looking out for, hey, oh, there's this, you know, I want this magic drop. There are also some pots that are useful here. I believe this one has a bunny beam, so you can powder it. Yeah. So if you want a fairy, there's a free, easy fairy to get there with powder. This one has a magic if you're low on magic. And this one has a heart if you're low on health. I'm pretty sure this one is useless. Yeah. We don't need 5 rupees anymore. We've spent all the money we're going to spend in the run. But there are a lot of RNGs here. I just kind of want to like show a few. Yeah. I go for the one that's going close to me, and then I try to get the one that's on the left, or I try to get the one that's on the left if they're both going away from me or not close to me, and go from there. You also just have to kind of understand the timing of the Medusa so that you're not going to release your spin or get hit before you release your spin, and then it won't work. Hey, thanks for that raid, Grid. You can also just walk however you want through this room pretty much. So I think that's everything about Pokies 2. There's a lot about that room. If I'm missing anything, well, let me know, but that is, you know, pretty much like you could spend a lot of time in this room practicing it just because there's so many RNGs, and you could figure out the optimal of every RNG and all that stuff. So when we do the crystal roller preset, it starts us here, which the next room is not the crystal roller room, but there's a very important reason for that. The next 2 rooms are tied together. The first room seems pretty simple, but if you are slow at all in it, like if you're not dashing right away, or like you try to do it too soon and your A input gets eaten and you got to redash, anything like that, it's going to affect the positioning of the roller in the following room. And because the timing of the roller is a lot more important than it was in that other room where we can just wait for it and walk over the top of it or whatever, this one, it's going to affect a lot, and there's a number of different ways to do this room. And they all start right here because the first room matters. So you need to bonk this wall. You can just walk up, or you could dash again. So it's very tight to make the like most optimal non-beam strat. You really have to get a good... This room has to be good, and the next room has to be pretty much perfect. But what you're doing is holding right, doing 3 Y presses, trying to get as far left on these pegs as possible so that you can get the iframes and already be closer to this, and then open this chest as far right as possible, and then be holding upright and spamming the Y button basically when you come out of that. And there are visual cues to know if you've got it or not, where you can adjust after that. But we can also go a little bit slower. We can bonk over this, place another block, and go in here. You know, I thought that, Vortex, but I think I saw Airy do it and get the squeeze, but maybe he had beams in that run. But yeah, you have to be pretty fast in that room, and there are positionings for the roller where you can just kind of tell, like, if you got a good time going into the room and if you're getting a good time going out of that room. As you can see, it's pretty tight. There are also beam strats for this room too, which we'll talk about in a second. So this is too late. Like, basically, this is about... Kind of missed it there. When you're opening the chest, if the roller is like past the halfway mark of these 2 blocks, you're definitely going to be too late coming out of it, and you're going to get hit. Oh, yeah. I think you're right. So beam strats are actually quite a bit easier and more comfy. You basically can go in the middle of this block and cast your beam, but then once you do it, you want to move to the right when the beams are out. It's kind of hard to do while I'm talking at the same time, as it turns out. So I'll just do a rep of it here. Just watch how I walk on these orange pegs. And then we have the iframes. We can walk through this. You can bonk over this. You also can squeeze the other way. It's a lot more comfortable with the beam strats, just because you're not spending all that time placing blocks. And if you're aligned with this, you can just hold up. You can slash this crystal pretty far to the left. Uh-oh, did I mess up my rights and lefts? I do that a lot. Yeah, so if I did say that wrong, you want to move all the way to the left on these blocks and hopefully not go over them, which can happen. So, you know, practice a couple different strats here. The beam ones are, I think, worth practicing even if you're just beginning, because they can save you time and they're not like terribly hard. Let's see if we can get one squeeze here if I stop talking at the same time. Oh, it bounced me, so I won't get it. So it really depends on a lot of things in that room. Like, you kind of have to get multiple things correct. You can also not go right far enough and then you get nudged on this block. Like, there's a lot of ways that it can go wrong, but at least if you recognize them, you can know that you're not going to make it like immediately. And that time, well, two things happened that I wouldn't make it. I wasn't far enough to the left on the orange blocks, and I also didn't grab the chest quick enough. Almost. Anyway, you get the idea. Yeah, it does depend on where you get the fairy, though, because if you get the fairy in Pokies 2, sometimes you will have beams in this room. But yeah, or if you get that fairy... that also would be a time when you can get it. But as you can see, I'm not even like try-harding this room. It's a lot less tight just not having to do those 4 block fires. Yes, it is very key to, like, if you know you're like not getting a first frame dash or something, like if you do something like this where you're getting your input eaten because you went too early or whatever, like you're kind of boned for doing the fast strat in that room. Might make this one. Nope. Yeah. All right. I think that, so we can bonk over, we can get the iframes to go through the roller. There's a couple different ways to do that, but I'm going to just go over kind of the safe, easy way again, which is, you know, you can just go up, do a block, take these iframes, open the chest, bonk over, fire a couple blocks. You know, that will work most of the time. You can also do a combo too, like if you want to do a beam to leave, if you've got beams, rather than place the cane block, like bonk over and then beam this thing. That's also easier than doing the first part, I think, where you want to move to the left and then do all that other stuff. Yeah, so as Vortex said, like I got a 4-2-1 room time in that, so I was like, even if I did this room pretty nicely, which I think this one wasn't too bad, I was too slow just because a couple oh yeah, getting the blue frame, the blue pegs, that can be pretty easy too. But you do have to place the blocks to the right for that one. I think when I was just starting, I didn't really do that. Because it is like, it's a little more finicky. It's not too bad though. But if you place 3 and then take your iframes Yeah, I think the thing is you have to get this timing right too. So that's why I didn't do it early on. But yeah, if you're spamming it out of there, you can take the iframes and then do it too. Now we're in this dark maze. So coming down, you want to cancel the stair lag. If your movement is good in this room, you can only get hit once, but we can use hookshot animation to get iframes again. So I'll just show you it the way that I would do it, which is you're going to take a hit from that thing, but maybe you can't take a hit. Maybe you're only on one heart. Maybe you're just worried about taking damage in this dungeon in general still. So yeah, no, I walk off this ledge a lot. You could not cancel stair lag. I think it's easier to not walk up this ledge. Well, no, I think it is harder if you take the stair lag sometimes actually, because it's like Link's movement speed changes. Yeah, because you can place it too late and walk off and that kind of thing. But we can also switch to hookshot at any time and try to, avoid getting hit. And it's also very easy to like go the wrong way. So you want to make sure that you're kind of holding right and then down, keep holding down, and then go left here. And then we'll switch to hookshot now. Hold right, keep holding right, hold down. The one thing is, if you are going to hookshot, you want to make sure Link is facing a direction where you have enough room to do it. Because if you hit a short hookshot, you're going to get hit because the animation's going to end earlier. Like there's not as much room, but I'm heading in that direction, so it's kind of never ever been lost in here. The other thing, it doesn't come up much because if you have powder, you're probably not going to get this, but there are some hearts on the far wall. Yeah, right here. There's some pots, and I think there's 2 hearts in them. And there's magic as well. I forgot about that one. But yeah, just keep holding left, hold left, hold left. And then you can turn down when you're about to leave here. Usually, unless you're really just in dire straits, there's going to be faster ways to refill your health if you have powder. This would kind of be like if you have no safeties and you're on 1 heart or something, or you don't have enough to make laser skip or something like that. After we're done with the dark maze, we are in this room, which can be very laggy, the one with the mini Helmosaur. So actually, even though theoretical optimal movement might be doing like some diagonals here, just with so much going on the screen with the lasers and the mini Helma, actually doing cardinals, except for maybe this last part, this last cut, once some of the lasers have finished, can be faster. So cardinals, very okay here when normally we might not like them. And sometimes the mini Helma will die, and sometimes he won't die. We hope for him to die. Nothing against him yet, but if he lives, then there will be. Trust me. He can be annoying a little bit. He's not the most annoying mini Helma in the game, but, he can be a little bit of a bother. So, laser skip. Let's go with the mirror shield first. So, as you can see, like, if you sword this beetle, Link can, like, slip around a lot, so you have to hold in. But what I would suggest doing instead is, if you're on Cane or switch to Cane, you want to hit him with the corner of the cane block. If you do it too high or too low, he's going to bounce into the path you want him to go in sometimes. That was still okay. Like if you're all the way even with the thing, it can happen where he bounces into where you're going, and that's no bueno, because then he gets really hard to kill. As you can see, a lot of times he'll bounce off, but like you don't really want it to ever happen. So it's nice to place this a little bit high. Yeah, there we go. I got it. So yeah, now it's like, oh, what do I do? Because I just have to do this, and I have to go place another one to get him out of the way. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to try to beat the laser if we're using not the mirror shield. But let's show the mirror shield first. I used to do this just by this. Like if you hold your sword down, Link points the mirror shield right to them. I mean, I think in theory if you face it, you're fine too. But you open this chest, we need this key. Oh, it's for going out, yeah. Because when you're walking out away from the laser, this will point the shield at it so you can take your time and then just clear the laser and dash out. So let's do that one more time with the mirror shield. Oops. Where is my shield? There we go. And then we'll leave the cane equipped. So this is, for the most part, like, there. Obviously the mirror shield can block shots and stuff that might otherwise hit Link later in the game. Mimics in GT is a good example and stuff, but we're very late in the game, and this is the room that the mirror shield is by far the most useful for. So this is typically like a first safety that people will drop as soon as you're ready to take the time to kind of learn to do this screen without the mirror shield. And even needing to take your time on it can be faster than not. Yeah, I mean, I've died at laser skip too. So, yeah, see, if you do this too, you can end up with him down, which is not great. So having him hit at an angle will usually bounce him off. What we're trying to do is hit kind of a small pixel range in which Link will not get hit by the laser, but will dash and nudge around that corner and then hold up. So this is basically what we're looking for to do it. Yes, the safety door. Because the laser, I believe, does 4 hearts of damage. Yeah, it's not kind. And there is another opportunity to kind of make sort of a save state, if you will. If you go out here and re-enter, you now, like, if you die, if you get to game over, if things go poorly, and you take a couple of hits to this guy that's going to, you know, take your health off really fast, you will resurrect right at that door, as well as the fact that if anything goes wrong with the rest of this dungeon, that can happen too. So we restarted here. That has definitely saved me a couple times when I was first starting out. It's nice to have. And even if you're, I think, especially when you first drop the mirror shield, and this is a very dangerous room, or if you don't have any fairies actively, the best place to next get fairies is the room after this, basically. So we can't enter that room until we get this key. So this is another reason why you might want to do this safety door. If you have fairies and you have good health here, you might want to skip it because it does take a little bit of time. You have to wait for the bomb. You have to go inside, outside, inside. But it is there. I think just situationally when I would use it would be, you know, if I have no fairy, if this is a new trick for me and I'm not very consistent at it, or just like I'm low on health and I know that I have 4 hearts or less where I'm in 1-hit KO from this is a time that I might do it. So looking at your health as you come into this room can be pretty helpful. But it's basically just kind of like understanding the lineups. Like this isn't going to work. I forget how many pixels actually work. I think there's at least 2, but it's not like a wide window, right? You're going to bonk if you're there. That was going to get hit because I was too low. Like there isn't a huge range of pixels that work. And then you also have to make sure that you don't bonk off the thing. And then you have to get out safely too, which is when you go around this corner, you have to diagonal upright and then pretty quickly switch to right so you don't fall off. Some people will intentionally fall off if they have the health. 5 pixel window. Okay. Yeah. So you have a few. Yeah, that makes sense because there is a fast strat for this room where you want to basically try to move 1 pixel down so that you get into the right spot. You have two pixels to get into the right spot with the dash, which moves 4 pixels. So You can, with the right RNG, just dash through the beetle and then slash him off the post. But sometimes he will fast charge you, so if you're trying to do the fast strat, you have to look for that too. I think a majority of people that aren't like either really fast, like will drop the cane block and do it. It's not super slow. It's safe. And if you fall off here too, it's okay. I do it sometimes. But yeah, if you are trying to go fast, you have like a two frame window in which you can do this. And then, yeah, the cane block is just easier to deal with that beetle too. Yes, with great RNG, you won't have to deal with them as well. Yeah. As you do it a bunch, like if you just spend 15 minutes in this room, you start to like understand right away if you're on the right pixel or not too. Like you just sort of recognize where Link is at. So that can be really helpful. Doo-doo. I probably did say that. Because you need enough time to charge your dash before you get hit. You don't have to move very far up when you're coming out. As you can see, like, his shadow is just a couple pixels off the bottom of the like solid part of this bridge, and I'm not getting hit. But sometimes you'll slip off. And then here the mini Helma will be here. We want to key dash this and align with the grid. So you can be aligned with this thing and walk straight up and dash into it, or you can nudge that rail on the bottom, and that will also work. Same kind of idea. And then we come to the peg puzzle, the switch puzzle room. This mini Helma can be really annoying. Killing him is totally a good option. I try to do it kind of from this peg from above. That just, like, he can be, you know, because you can hit him and then just knock him around and stuff if you don't hit him in the right way, and then you're just in this kind of time-wasting sort of thing. And then he's not even out of your way. So if you're going to kill him from above. And then a very good strat here is use your cane block, throw this, fire your cane block on these pegs to get the iframes, because there can be an anti-fairy in this area. There can be that pokey in this area. Some of that you will see because we can see a lot of the rest of the room, and you'll start to sort of know just from doing this room a lot eventually, like, oh, it's up here off where I can't see. But using the pots, like a lot of times people like want a hook shot, boomerang, and like do all this menuing, but like if there's a pot available, like pots are easy, pots are fast, pots are safe. So yeah. Optimally would be the cane dash, where you also have the RNG that you can dash right out, which I didn't get there. I think he would have hit me. And you can get like sub 8 room times with that. But you're not losing a ton of time by doing one of these guys. Well, I didn't do it very fast there. But the pot isn't like super slow. Oh. It's a 901. I guess it's like a second. Yeah. This room, like when it goes badly, this room can go very badly. This is a great spot to like get an anti-fairy. If you have powder. I would say it's not a great spot to get a fairy if you have fake powder. Just like trying to drain your magic, trying to get it to fire off at the exact right place can be kind of... I've definitely died trying to do it at one point. So, like, even if you have fake powder, I would say not to do it in this room, but, you know, sometimes you might want to chance it. I think it's easier to just get through at that point, once you're at the level where you're using fake powder, to just do one kit KO for the rest of this than try to deal with that, but yeah. But yeah, trying to stop your cane dash if you're doing that strat on the pegs so that you can get the peg invulnerability and get out of the way of or like just not get hit by everything that's possibly in your way is also nice. See, I mean, with fake powder, I didn't think the tough thing was draining your magic necessarily. It's just like getting it to be in the right spot. But yeah, killing that Helma, real nice. So there's a heart and a magic refill in these pots here as we move towards Trinex. Yeah, and because he bounces you, I really do like to hit that Helma kind of in this range where it's going to bounce Link back into this block. Yeah, just works nice. So this time I'm going to remember make a save state here. Not get hit by everything. Yeah, easier said than done. So you actually like, you don't have to, you can get this magic pot from all the way up here. If you grab it on the right side and just walk up or walk to the left, Link will pick it up. So if you're trying to be like really optimal about your movement, it's very possible to do that. You also can do the cane block from here, from all the way to the right. You don't have to walk to the middle, just like the times that we were in the main room there. If you have Gold Sword, I used to menu to Ice Rod right here. So I think let's do that and show the Gold Sword version first. Oh, yeah. Doing the cane dash. Let me actually look at that room one more time really quick. Something that kind of unlocked it for me recently is you want to hold up right out of this and then switch to the up. And that kind of just manips the Helma usually well enough that he's not going to be in your way if you're fast and not talking at the same time. But yes, you can also kill him and probably save time on it, but it's up to you. You can mix and match some of these strategies. So if you're going to grab this heart, Trinex, when he hits you, does 4 damage, at least the main head of him. So like if I'm on 3 and it's just going to bring me up to 4, I'm not going to waste time grabbing this. Sometimes it doesn't matter just because one heart won't make a difference when everything does like hits Link like a truck with the green mail. So let's go back and do Gold Sword Trinex now. So with Gold Sword Trinex, I have the Ice Rod already out. When I come in, when this guy comes down, I will Ice Rod him. And then I think it's 3 hits, but you want to switch to Fire Rod before the last hit because when each head is in a dying animation, you can't menu. And so if this guy's dying and you can't menu and you're still on Ice Rod, you cannot do anything to this ice head. And that can turn out fine. Like here I got pretty lucky, but I think the ice head in certain ways is more dangerous. Maybe it's just because we kill him second, but shooting ice on the ground makes this room a lot more complicated than it needs to be. So being able to get him quickly is really nice. So let's do that one more time at a more full speed. Ice Rod, 1, 2, switch to Fire Rod, 3. 3 hits for that one after the Fire Rod. You want to be careful, like if you're missing a bunch, try to just slow down because you can, and I have on multiple occasions, run out of magic in this room. And that is also kind of a no bueno situation. So let's do that one more time with this, and then we'll start talking about other strats here. And you will forget sometimes to switch the menu, and that'll be okay. You only need, in theory, 2 fire rod shots to beat the first couple phases of, or the first couple heads of him here. Yeah, running out of magic is a run killer. So if you have gold sword, you only need to do two shots. So you just got a full magic refill, which does mean that with that, you can either be slow and need extra shots, or you can miss a fair number of shots. But like if you've missed 2 or 3, just try to slow down. Things can get hairy. You know, like you have to dodge the big head in certain cycles. The other head is moving. There can be ice. Yeah. Yeah, I think I run out of magic here pretty recently as well. So, that's Gold Sword Trinax. It is possible to do, and you'll see it in Hundo runs, it is possible to do the strat that I'm about to show with the Gold Sword and get a 0 cycle on Trinax. But most people don't do that outside of Hundo, because if you're starting to do that, you're probably also starting to switch to Tempered Sword because you're learning some of those strats. But when I'm doing the Tempered Sword route, and we'll talk about the heads first, and then I'll talk about like the last phase a little bit. I come into this room and I hold left, and I'm looking for Link to be lined up with this tile. So it's kind of the second tile to the right or to the left of the door. You can see there's kind of like sets of 2 rocks with a big rock. And that's where I will dash up. And then I'm menuing and trying to get Link just a little bit above the head. And then I'm holding cardinal right out of this and then switching to down and firing as cleanly as I can. So doing it and talking and having pause menus at the same time, sometimes difficult. But then we do 4 slashes, and we're going to fire 1 more ice rod shot. And when I come out of this menu, I'm going to down right a little bit so that when I hit the firehead, it will bounce me towards the other side. And around, like if you're slow here, you might have to watch out for the first cycle of the Trinax, the big head hitting you. It does happen that you need to watch out for it. I've seen people bonk, but I've never actually done that in practice in a real run to try and avoid the head. So 4 fire rod shot, move a little bit to the side. And so this is where I ran out of magic. Although I don't know why I have so little. Did they skip the magic refill in this preset? And you can dash down from the top to hit the big head too, or the other ice head too. And you want to just kind of know that around the time you're getting there, you're going to have to dodge the big head. Pretty much, no matter how fast you do this, you're going to have to dodge the big head 1 time. In certain ways, I do like, just because of like ice getting on the floor, sometimes I do like going in the back way more, really. And if you, like what just happened to me there is I kind of let the head get a little too far away, so I'm not getting 4 quick hits. And if you don't get 4 quick ones in, the last one won't count, and you might have to fire the other one again sooner. And then you can usually do a rod shot, 3 hits, a rod shot, and then a couple more hits to kill this guy. And then what I try to do to line Link up here, I guess I can't really pause while he's in the dying animation. So I try to line Link kind of up where like the hilt of his sword is kind of at the opening of Trinax a little bit, or his hat is with this first rock under there. And I kind of put him, I try to put him like, I can't show you if I remove the sprites. This is a tough one to show since you can't really pause at the right time. I try to put his hat basically right under the explosions. There are definitely different lineups that work, though. I've seen people do different stuff. What we're trying to do is get a double hit on Trinax, though. We want 2 spins to count because that makes the battle a little bit faster and potentially a little bit safer. So I'll try to remember to make a save state this time, though. Yeah. Using this menu here to judge where Link is pretty useful. So yeah, this can be in different places around the room too, but I just try to line it up kind of the same way. And then as soon as the big shell disappears, I let go of the button. And then I wait. I actually didn't wait long enough here because I'm trying to talk at the same time. But I wait to try to see if I hear the double hit. You know, that wah, wah. So you kind of know if you got it or not. If you did get it, with Tempered Sword, you theoretically just have 1 slash to kill Trinax and you don't need to move out of the way. If you're not sure if you got it or you didn't get it, you want to move up here, and I accidentally menued while I was trying to hold up, to get out of his way. You can get 1 hit in on him there, but this menu, we need it on the next split anyway. It's the first thing we need, but also it really helps. See there, I didn't get it, and I also waited too long. Yes, vertical placement is much less important than the horizontal. That's true. I think the vertical is a little bit more about your reaction time. So I didn't get it there. So, like, his whole body is vulnerable right along here. Like, you can hit him in the head until he gets to, like, the corner, and then it becomes just his torso. If you didn't get the double hit, you need 3 slashes on him. Because he can go outside of the like bounds of the screen, he will be... the heart will always drop in the middle. Yeah, that's another visual cue. You could use the head appearing. So there we got it. So all I need to do when I come out of this menu is slash, and he's dead. But if you're not sure, just hold up out of that menu and get out of the way. You still can get the slash down on him if he only has 1 hit. And that's even if I need 3 hits, I try to get that slash, come over here and get a hit, and then kind of dodge him and get a hit like over the top of him. And then we get the heart. And we get the crystal. And that's Turtle Rock. So that only took about an hour and a half to discuss all the different strats and everything. So I'll see if there's any questions on Turtle Rock, but we're going to kind of just go quickly over the bosses of the Dark World, or if there's questions on other bosses, just do kind of a little boss rush here, if you will, and see just like quick reminders. So, Helma, you want your sword out coming into this room. I do think that it is a lot easier with spin speed if you can do it. And the first thing we watch for, if he's coming down, we'll do 3 hits before we try to trigger the spin speed. If he's up top, we'll do 1 hit, let Link bounce, and then try to do it. Once again, talking, explaining, and doing at the same time, nearly impossible. Spin speed also, nearly impossible. His first phase takes 17 hammer hits. I'm not counting because I'm talking to you, but it is important to count because If he does a fireball, you can despawn the fireball. Look at that luck. By just having his mask get destroyed while the fireball is on screen. It has to be like on screen already. It can't just be coming out of his mouth. Hardest 2 bosses aren't dead yet. Very true. His second phase takes 8 slashes or 4 hammer hits. And in the first phase, he can only do 1 move at a time. So he's either moving, he's doing this tailspin, he's doing a fireball, or he is kind of charging towards you. Now let's try and get a fireball here. The fireballs will go clockwise. So it's going to go top, right. Well, the first one can be random, but once they start, they will be clockwise, which can really help you dodge them. In the second phase, there can be some almost impossible to avoid things depending on the RNG that you get, because he can tail whip and fireball at the same time, which so far he's actually been kind of nice here. But if I wait around long enough, I'm sure he'll do something that's fairly dangerous, right? Right? Never when you don't want him to be dangerous will he be nice. So there can be some ways where he's charging down, you don't have a lot of room to move. There are also times on Helmasaur where I've killed my spin speed on purpose just because I'm so pinned to the wall that I think spins are the best option. It's pretty rare. The best thing to do is to kill him fast with those hammer hits before he gets a chance to do too much. The reason we do the spin speed is because it improves the hammer hitbox so much. It makes that so much easier to get those hits. Yeah, especially if you've taken hits or you already have damage in the first phase. It can be nice because if he is shooting a fireball, you usually can get a couple hammer hits in as well pretty quickly in that second phase. And yeah. This is kind of a boss rush, so unless there's any questions about Helma, I'll just keep moving. Yeah, counting can sometimes be hard. Depends on the boss. I'm pretty good about doing it with Helmasaur. So, Toes only give me the 10. We go into this room, and then once we're in the light, it's going to spawn blind. You can dash or just walk up. And blind is scripted, in theory. So basically, the first 3 hits are kind of straight in a row. So just like after this text box cancels, just keep your sword held out, slash again, keep it out, and walk into him each time a little bit. Just enough for your sword to hit. And then dodge the fireballs, keep your sword held out. This was a little bit slow. I lost a couple frames there. He's not in a perfect position for phase 3. But one of the problems that I had a lot with blind early on is I was like getting spins instead of slashes. Sometimes beams can be a little annoying in this fight too. But if something is happening to you like, no, not that. Thinking about doing it wrong and talking all at the same time. So if you're getting spins like that and it's kind of messing you up at all, just hold the sword longer. Don't release the sword button. Just let the sword drop on its own. Hold it out, and if you just keep holding the button, Link will drop it on his own from the hit. If you're releasing it, you'll get spins, and that was the problem for me a long time, is just keep holding it. Just walk the sword into Blind's head when you're up here. You know, if your timing is not exactly like first frame hit perfect all the time, just walk towards him, walk through him, whatever you need to do for that second phase. And then the third phase, a lot of people bonk off this wall. I just dodged the fireballs. I don't know. The third phase is the hardest phase. If you can get cleanly to the third phase, it's going to help a lot. But getting him first frame here, heading up and facing down quickly, getting him here, and then getting him one more time over here. Yes, hold B until there is no sword. That's basically another way of saying it, right? Oh, that's a good tip for now. That there is a visual cues at 1, 8, and 8. Didn't know that. That makes sense. Yeah, you can't really, like, I mean, you can do blind slower, but you can't do them any faster than the script. The script is, you know, you kind of know how fast you did it by where, if you've been on script, by where the final, like, positioning is for his corpse, her corpse. Once again, talking and doing it at the same time is impossible. But actually, if you do it pretty good, you will have blind die kind of over here. And the other thing is, your dodges, once again, talking at the same time, your dodges are kind of consistent. Like if your blind fight is consistent, where you need to dodge is consistent. Even if you have to dodge a little bit to get this last hit or whatever, it's fine. As long as you survive, right? And the more of the script you can get consistently, the more you will survive. Oh, that's a new one. I walked to the side and I off-center blind. So make sure you're holding up or dashing so that you are centered right here. I think the beam hit him there. Nothing wrong with losing a run to blind. All of these bosses I've lost a run to at some point. Mothula. Mothula, you might be on Fire Rod. I don't use Fire Rod on them anymore because the menu in that previous room is like goated. Also, the hand can hit you while you're falling, so if your timing is off, you got to be careful. The main thing with Moth is you want to try and get the double hit, which I think whoever did that section probably explained in great detail. FMG explains in great detail. If you're practicing it and trying to learn it, you can control the RNG of the conveyor for different conveyors in the RNG control section of the menu under, what is it? Oh, interesting. I didn't know the Helma one was there. Moth conveyor. So you can practice getting the double hit with one conveyor direction at a time, which can be really helpful to learning how to do them since they're all a little bit different. You're kind of trying to aim Link into the same final position, but most of them involve having Link's sword kind of touching the block there, and then starting the dash when Moth's antenna touches the block. And you can listen to the sound cue of whether you get 2 hits or 1 hit. It's nice to count, but it's kind of like you're just going to keep going till he's dead anyway, till she's dead. Yeah, I think whoever did this section did mention trying to just like be on this and dodge for a while. Because the longer this fight goes, the more chaotic it is, because more and more spikes will come out. You also can, even if you aren't going to damage Moth, which bopping Moth into the spikes doesn't work very well, because it's level 4 sword damage, which for some reason Moth doesn't take damage to. You can at least hit Moth to keep Moth from doing the its attack. So every time you hit it, it will reset the timer on its attack, which that can sometimes save you, buy you time, whatever. Yeah, getting one is nice to start with. Getting 2 is excellent to start with. The best thing you can probably practice in this fight is trying to get a double or single hit to start consistently, because that at least means less time that you're in this fight, and less time means less chaotic, because more and more spikes are going to come off the wall for you to dodge, and it's just going to be, you know, very chaotic. You also can, if you have, you know, fire rod shots left, you can fire rod if it's about to, if she's about to blast you with the ring beams or whatever. If Moth dies at the top and the spike is missing behind Moth, you can go into the cavity where the spike used to be to try and get a first frame grab on the heart. Otherwise, if the spikes are all here and Moth dies up there, you're just going to have to wait for the heart to fall. It's not a big deal, and it's not a lot that you can control. Just recognizing it and being able to save a few frames there is kind of a nice thing. Okay, Cold Stare. There's a lot of strats, and I don't know a lot of them super well because, oh man, this is going to mess up my muscle memory on this room again, I'm sure. Last time I was trying to teach multiple strats, I just lost this room for a while. A big thing is the fire rod shots to begin with. You have this falling ice, and the timing of that matters a little bit. So getting your 8 fire rod shots in quickly is like, you know, for a lot of strats is going to be key, because you want to have a consistent timing as to when the ice falls. There are some other strats where you can do like 7 or something, and then kind of like basically get back on the cycle where the ice is falling at the right time. That isn't what I would call the cycle, but it's possible to do. There are 1 poke, 2 poke, 6 slash, half magic strats in this. But that's kind of how you want the fire rod shots to go. So I walk till I'm in this tile. You can kind of see it here. The lines are pretty faint, but you land like here-ish, and I do an upright till I'm about here, because that will hit him. And you can continue to move closer, but if you get a shot eaten, you know your timing is off. It does happen sometimes. Sounds good. Like there, I just got one eaten, so I know my timing is going to be off, which means, you know, you're risking some ice stuff. And basically, no matter what strat you do, you want to have consistent visual cues and alignments, because the more you can keep Cold Stare in the same positions every time, the better. It's also worth noting that the ice alternates from doing cardinals and diagonals. So you can know where the ice is going to go the next time that it falls. So we got diagonal, and then it's going to be cardinal. And then if you get a puff party, which does happen, it's going to happen. Sometimes you can get double hits if you can get a spin against the wall. Cold Stare's puffs do 4 hearts of damage, and the ice does 2. So just to keep in mind how many hits you can take. And I also think about that in the room where you can go through the spike. When you're going through this room, I kind of think about how many hits I have on Cold Stare to decide whether, you know, I want to take the safe route through this, or if it doesn't matter and it's not going to, 1 heart's not going to make a difference, then I'll just take the damage. Yeah, that is pretty key to know. So let's try and get a 1 poke in. I know I at least can do that one. If I get the fire rod shots right. Yeah, the alternating is a good thing to keep an eye on. Well, with the 1 puff, I did what you're supposed to do there. So I try to walk straight up to the wall and start charging the sword after this. And I line up right here. I line up Link's sword with this for the 1 poke. It's going to be a little different where you want to put him in Cold Stare, because if you're doing 2 poke, you want more room. If you're doing 6 slash, you want him in a different place as well. But getting this initial spin will try to keep the puffs together. So with one poke, you kind of like kiss the edge of Link's sword and then start a dash on the top wall. And then it will move Cold Stare back. The most common thing that would go incorrectly, I think, is that you would not hold A long enough. You can hold A up to the point in which you would dash. So if you're dropping the sword, that's usually where the problem is. And then what I did just there is I moved a little bit down right and I menu buffered to kind of, I already forgot what happened on this one, but to kind of see if you get the double hit or if you're set up to get the double hit on Cold Stare, because we're trying to pin him against the wall and get 2 spins on him. If we get 2 spins on him, then we can just clean him up with a single hit. Yeah, that is true. Like if you're where you place him is inconsistent, things can change a lot. 6 slash, you kind of have to, you're doing a similar setup to start with, but then instead of doing pokes and spins, you're 6 slashing. So you do want to move left and right backwards. That one went pretty smoothly for me. You want to try to be a little bit underneath Cold Stare to try to keep him from getting away in the corner. Once one escapes, even if it's just one, things can get a little dicey, but you know, 1 is better than 3 escaping, especially if it goes like way over here and it's not bothering you while you clean up these guys. This is also where it's good to pay attention to the ice. You have to move back, like it takes longer to 6 slash, so you have to move a little bit left and right to not only manipulate Cold Stare, but to bait the ice so that you're not getting hit by the ice and stuff. And that's where it is good to kind of be paying attention to which direction the ice is going to fall next, depending on where you are. Like if you're on a cardinal, like you might know, hey, I'm going to get hit by it. There are plenty of times when you can be a 1-hit KO and you know, hey, like maybe it's better for me to bail on this than take that ice hit because the ice hit will kill me. I don't know how to do 2 pokes, so I'm not going to show you that one. With half magic, you have Fire Rod, so that's nice. So not only can you have, with regular magic, you have 8 Fire Rod shots, right? And that's, you need, if you miss a single shot, you can't win this fight because you can't break the ice anymore. It takes all 8 to open the ice. So half magic, you still have some remaining with it, and you can, you know, you can do some of this stuff. That's not necessarily the optimal way to do it, but you have that option to clean up stuff. I think the optimal thing is to spin him this way and then kind of try to get him against that wall with your hits. I've never done that one before, but I think that's the idea. You might charge your sword differently. Push him against the wall and then try to just get some Fire Rod shots into him. That's Cold Stare. If there's any questions, let me know, but we'll keep going just for the sake of time. Argus, there is a 0 cycle strat. I'm not going to show you that because I've never done it, but the concept is hook dashing all the puffs. And the key to doing it is not only holding, like it's just a weird grip. It's uncomfortable to practice, but it is fast. So you want to basically just stay in the doorway and get 4 puffs before he gets to you. Then move a little bit, get some more puffs, move back a little bit, and you can get it pretty fast where there's just a couple puffs left to clean up. And then you don't ever want to be above Argus because as he's going up, he will hit you on the way up. Yes, splash damage on Cold Stare is increased heading to the left. So you do, if you do have that, you want to hit him that direction. If you can tank the hits and you have a decent amount of health, staying close to Argus is pretty nice because you can get the puffs much faster. But obviously, if he's gonna do his attack where the puffs spread out, and you're like in one hit KO, or you're worried about health, like maybe you're just 2 hits left or something, that, you know, you might walk out of the way of the puffs and then get back. You might end up getting a 2 cycle with that, where the cycles being when he spreads the puffs out, but that's just what it is. And he won't start to go up above the screen until he's finished with a cycle. So if he's in the middle of a section where the puffs would have been out, he'll just keep going until that theoretical animation is finished, even if there's no puffs. And then one way to do it is just to kind of bait him. So where you let Link stand a little bit, and then I just move a little bit to the side. And then once he drops, you can spin. 2 of those will do the trick. There's another more advanced strat with Argus with using the fire rod that often goes with the 0 cycle. I actually think that's easier than the 0 cycle, but I've never done it in a run because I don't think it saves a ton. Maybe someone else knows. It's a few seconds, but you also have to menu fast to do it because you have to menu to the fire rod and then you have to menu back again later. So that's Argus. That one felt fast, but I don't know if there's a lot more to say. Yes, that's true. The restock room, as it's called here. Because there's a good chance you'll also take damage in what's called Phelps Way. Just sometimes it's unavoidable. But yeah, there's 2 hearts there. There's arrows here and a bomb here. So as you're kind of heading here, like probably when you're waiting for this last water lever is a good time to think about like, hey, what do I need? Or even at the beginning of the dungeon, I'll often decide because that the first key pot, there is a bomb above it. So this is where I start thinking about like, okay, if you're going to grab the arrows in the restock room, grabbing like, you might as well grab the bomb there. But if you're not gonna, and you need a bomb, grabbing one here is good. Whether you want a bomb, like the counts that you need and stuff, it really depends on what route you're taking. Like have you already been through Mire and done Spooky? Are you doing Mire next? Have you got Ice Rod? All those things kind of determine stuff. The first room in Turtle Rock, I didn't mention this, actually does have a bomb. So if you're short on bombs, you can also grab one here. Next to this magic pot, there is one. So if you're on 0 here, you should grab one because you're going to need one in GT. If you're going to do any safety doors, or the safety door, it's good to have this one as well. Because that's an extra bomb. Vitreous. So Vitreous, I mostly use cardinals. I come into, let me turn off the sprites here. So I walk straight up into the room onto this like bubble of ooze, do a cardinal left and slash, and then I walk cardinally this way. When you start to diagonal, sometimes certain RNGs can be a little rough. You can set the first eye RNG in the practice over in the RNG control. There is a, where is it? It's somewhere in here. You probably already noticed it, and I'm still looking for it. First vidi, yeah. There's a lot of different eyes, so it can be any of them. But yeah, the ones over on the left side are the most dangerous ones, generally speaking, that can hit you with this first hit. There's other stuff that matters too, but anyway, I go here till about the point where Link is past the eyeball that's here. So it's like kind of on this tile. There's not like as great of visual cues without the sprites. I kind of use that eyeball in its positioning. You can go up, get a spin off, and then I go down and slash, and I go to this open spot in the ooze, the vitreous. I mean, I think the ooze is actually, that would be the vitreous, right? So let me show those first two. And you want to see which eyes you're hitting or missing too. But once I'm here and you go over, you know, it times it right so that you should be charged without dropping your charge to an eyeball. And you want to try to, like, there I missed the left eye. So later after the third hit, I'm going to have to clean that up. So you kind of want to keep an eye on what you're going to keep an eye on. You want to keep an eye on which eyes you don't hit so that you know what you need to clean up after. Too many eyes. That's right. So first hit, second hit, watching what we hit, missed that eye, then coming in here, and I missed a lot of eyes on that one, so it's definitely not going to be a 0 cycle. You can get a 0 cycle. A 1 cycle is pretty good too. That's also why I walked past that eye. That was one of the RNGs that's kind of like rough. Depending on your health, you can clean up the last eye and your speed too. You can clean up those last eyes with slashes or arrows. And then Vitreous takes 8 arrows to kill. What I like to do here, and really this could work on almost any screen where you're doing arrows, is if you know how many it takes, like right now I have 20. That might be different by the time I've finished up the eyeballs, but at the time that I finish the eyeballs, I look at the number of arrows that I have, and because he takes 8, I just increase the one's digit by 2 in my head. So like right now I would think 12, right? 2 is 2 above this, so 12. And when you see the number, you've got enough hits. Once the number changes, the arrow is out essentially. Like, so you can be done firing once you see that number to not waste arrows. Yes, slashes can be very good for cleanup. That is very true. Like, especially if there's 2 together like that. So here we had 17, so 9, and we didn't waste an arrow. Yeah, I mean, in theory, it could work for any boss that you're using arrows on. Like, you could use it for Armos. I haven't, like, mentally done it yet, but it is kind of nice. Like, if you go into Armos and you know, oh, I've got this many arrows, the same thing could work so you don't waste one in that fight, too. So here, it's like you could stop when you're at 4, if you don't miss any or anything. Usually I'm just looking at the guys, but I think that's why I don't do it here. Is with Viddy, you don't really have to look at anything. He's not, if you're hitting him, he's not moving, and you're not moving. You're just firing straight up, so you don't really need to react to anything. I think it's why I do it there rather than other places. That's our boss rush, I guess, for the Dark World. Are there any like lingering boss questions here? I'm kind of running out of voice, so like, even though we have the time, I'm not planning to go too much longer. But if people have any questions in the chat or whatever, I'll try to get those here. There's a lot going on with T-Rock. Just start with the easiest stuff and upgrade one screen at a time, right? 525 screens in the game, like getting through them and living through them is the first priority. And then, you know, as Lex said, I think in one of the mentor channels, you know, first, like just memorizing the route, surviving the route, saving seconds, and then starting to save frames is kind of the progression, right? So if something only saves a few seconds and it's really hard or you're inconsistent, you don't need to do it. If it saves only frames, you definitely don't need to do it. You know, MoogleMod made the whole like kind of concept theory task called Noob Splice, where basically he did generally easier strats for most of the game, and it comes out to a 125. Obviously, a lot of like theory tasks with like really try-hard strats are more like 120, or I think the new one might even be a 119 or something. So it is losing like 5 minutes of time, but it's proving that like very simple strats can get you very good times in this game. Consistency is better than saving a couple frames. And you can kind of assess rooms one at a time as far as what you want to change and upgrade. All right, I don't see any questions.
Job, Blue.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice session. No questions, chat? That's rare. Okay, well, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and type them out now, preferably directed at Turtle Rock specifically, since that is our focus. And yeah, just while we're finishing up here, I wanted to briefly go over the event purpose because we hit the 6-week point, and there's a lot to learn in 8 weeks for this run. It is a lot, and it is okay to be behind or feel behind, but the event purpose is to teach people the no major glitches speedrun. This is the main run for this game. So A Link to the Past, any % no major glitches save and quit is going to be the most popular category for this speed game. Additionally, we want to help improve the quality of the speedruns while bonding with others. We want to increase event participation without pressure of a highly competitive tournament. We want to foster connection between new runners and the existing community, and I think that a lot of the mentors and the newcomers from the Minty group are doing a really great job connecting and learning about some of the past history with this game and how far it's come. So that's really cool to see. Also providing runners and the randomizer community another opportunity to increase technical skill, since most NMG players are going to be highly focused on technique more so than the decision making and the logic like the rando players. And to establish a teacher-student relationship that is potentially ongoing. So that means that even after a mentor program ends, you may have found a group member, a friend, a mentor, someone else that you connect with and you feel like, hey, you now have like a friendly rivalry. Yeah, just stuff like that. And then also to help prevent burnout or retirement for A Link to the Past lover. So I will say that there's probably 3 or 4 people that came out of retirement just because of mentor program. A little of that is because when you see one person working on the run, other people want to do it too. And another part is, you know, people are probably starting to get ready for an upcoming league, or, you know, maybe something is going to come up for the randomizer community, so they'll hop over to that. But this is inclusive as possible, and we have such a huge range, all the way from beginners, never have seen Turtle Rock until today, people who are aiming for a 124, already have a 124, and just want to be more consistent and improve at that top leaderboard time. So yes, we do want to help prevent the burnout, but I do realize that it is a lot to get through in the 8 weeks. And I have had several questions, and I've tried my best to keep up with those responses. So I will remind you guys, please do not mute the mentor program announcements channel if you can handle it, or at least try to check it every few days or so. I try not to ping you guys excessively. I know that some people are annoyed by that, and I do apologize. We have a lot of time zones too, and I try to be considerate as possible for that. There's just only so much I can do, and we have people all over the world, which is a really cool thing too. So yeah, the next race is actually not going to be on a restream. So instead, anyone who wants to jump in, they can just join the mentor program Race Voice that's set up in the ZSR server. It's already there. And we'll just do a race room like normal. You hop in if you want to join. That's going to be Saturday, March 14th. It's a late one to hit some people who have not had the opportunity to race yet. So this one's going to be 9 p.m. Eastern time, and that's once again Saturday, March 14th. So that gives you an entire week to maybe catch up, learn T-Rock, work with your mentor nearly all day Saturday to get some good practice in, or maybe you just need a little rest, whatever. It's up to you. You do you, but that is an optional race. We're going to hop in voice, have some mentors join, hopefully, and just socialize, have a good time, probably die. That's the way it goes. And then our next lecture is on Sunday, March 15th, and that is to go over Ganon's Tower, and that will be led by Blunt Bunny at 1 p.m. Eastern. That was a lot of information. So all of the VODs are saved for our participants, and you can find those in the mentor program announcements channel. Blue, go ahead if you had any other final things to say, or if any of the mentees asked questions while I was rambling. This is the time.
Yeah, not too much to add. I mean, it's a very long game. This program is quick just by the necessity of a program having a schedule, but that doesn't mean that your journey needs to have a set schedule. Just learn as it comes, as you have time, whatever. There are VODs. You don't have to, as mentioned, you don't have to be caught up. It doesn't really matter too much. Yeah. That's all I got.
Happy birthday to Blue. All right, we're going to raid TGH, one of our mentors.
All right, let's go.
So thank you so much. You did a great job, Blue, and you guys practice hard. Good luck. Let me know if you have questions. Thank you, guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.